Well, welcome to Penn Engineering Online's admissions webinar. Today, we are going to be discussing the MCIT online program. That's the Masters of Computer and Information Technology online program. So we're thrilled to see so many of you logging on today, and we have a lot of great information to go over with you. My name is Jackie Panto. I am the admissions recruitment manager here at Penn Engineering Online. I'm the face behind all of the email replies if you've been emailing and asking us questions. I know I've already met a few of you during office hours. So my main role here is to help you through the process, help you with the fact finding about the program, help you with the admissions process, and get you all set and ready to submit your application. Today, our webinar, it's not just me. We have somebody that will also be presenting with me. We have Olivia Roth. Olivia is the Director of Online Academic Programs. And I believe Olivia has been with us since the start of the MCIT online program. So she is a wealth of information, has a ton of knowledge about the program. So the first part of the webinar, Olivia is going to go over the program structure, the program curriculum, talk about the MCIT online community, the community of students. She'll go through all of that information with you. Then she's going to turn the webinar back over to me. I'm going to go through the admissions elements with you, the application elements, talk a little bit about the deadlines and the dates to keep you on track throughout the application process. I'll talk about tuition. And then we have a great opportunity for our MCIT online students. And I'm going to talk about that opportunity, which is our dual degree program. So we have a lot of great information to go over with you today. And you're in really good hands. So hopefully we're going to be able to answer your questions and ease all of your concerns. So I just want to point out, in addition to Olivia and I, we do have a team behind the scenes that are going to be helping out. We have Coley, we have Kat, and Jeannie's behind the scenes as well. And everybody's going to be helping with answering your questions and kind of keeping us on track and making sure we stay on track. So thank you to our online team, our behind the scenes team. We appreciate it. Thank you so much. Couple of things I just wanted to point out before we dive in and get started. The webinar is being recorded, so you have no worries there. If you forget what we said, if there's something you think we said, you can go back and watch the webinar. It'll probably be posted on our YouTube channel within the week. And you can also share it with friends. If you have other people that are interested, by all means, share the webinar with them. But definitely it'll be recorded. You can watch it as many times as you'd like. In addition, I mentioned questions and answers, or I think I did. At the end of our presentation, we'll allow about 15 or 20 minutes for Q&A. What we need you to do, there's a Q&A function in Zoom. So we need you to use that function to type out your questions. So if you can type your questions out throughout the webinar, our behind the camera team, behind the scenes team will be answering those questions throughout the webinar. And then at the end, we will allow time, and Olivia and I will answer some questions on camera as well. So I think I've just about covered everything. I'm going to turn it over to Olivia. Thanks so much, Olivia. It's all yours.
Thank you, Jackie. I am very excited to be here with you today. Really happy to have so many folks joining us, and welcome. So as Jackie mentioned, we're going to be chatting about the MCIT online degree program offered by Penn Engineering Online. And this is just a truly remarkable degree. It is so unique in the marketplace. And we wanted to start by telling you about some of our demographics. So we started with, 200 some in our first few semesters, and we've grown to about 1,500 students. And we expect that to level off to maybe about 1,800 in steady state. It's a really cool size because it's enough volume that there's a lot of network for everyone. And there's still personal attention from the instructors and the teaching assistants. So we also have a really diverse group of folks There are some statistics that you can read here. 56% of our students are international citizens, meaning their citizenship is outside of the United States. And then we also have people learning from 39 different countries. We're trying to get all of the continents. We're not quite there yet, but if you are in Antarctica, please apply. We would be really happy about that. And in a field that is typically dominated with male type of people, we have 42% of our students identifying as women. And we're really proud of that number. We'd love to have it go even higher. But that is a very rare percentage for a computer science-based program. And we even have a wide range of ages, from students who have just graduated to those who are getting closer to retirement age. And I think the diversity of our student body is something that makes the experience extremely rich. Not to mention, because of the nature of the degree, people are also coming in from different types of industries and backgrounds. So, you know, you have people from finance, from business, from healthcare, English majors, engineers, all sorts of folks. So it is a really dynamic group of people. And next, I want to tell you a little bit more about the degree itself. So MCIT, as Jackie mentioned, is the Master of Computer and Information Technology. So this degree has been on campus since 2001, which means that the curriculum is tried and true. It is something that has been extremely successful on campus. And we are seeing that same success online with our MCIT online graduates. So it's the same curriculum that they have on campus. It's the same instructors for the most part who are teaching on campus and online. It's the experience itself. It's the mechanism of delivery that's different, right? And we'll go into that a little bit more detail. But the diploma that MCIT online students is exactly the same as the one received by the on-campus students. It does not mention that it's an online degree. The courses themselves do not have mention of online either. So it is an online program in the sense that if an employer asks you whether it was done online or not, I think you would need to be truthful about that. Just in case that matters for some reason. But I think more and more we're finding that there's very little stigma with online degrees, especially when it comes from such a reputable place, such as Penn. So, and it is also geared towards people who have non-computer science majors. I almost forgot to say that, but it's a computer science degree, but you don't have to have a computer science background. In fact, if you have a computer science degree, then this would not be the correct degree for you. But it's more for people who want to perhaps change into a different industry or advance in their industry, and you have quantitative abilities, mathematical aptitude, but you never had the formal training. And so this degree takes folks who have those foundational aptitudes and brings them up to speed so that they can be equipped to be extremely savvy in the marketplace and have a really robust set of skills that can take them in a lot of different directions. So just to drill down a little bit into the curriculum itself, the degree is made up of 10 courses, and at Penn we call them course units, so you might see that phrase sometimes too. But we have 6 core courses that are required. And so you can read the titles there, but you can also imagine that the 6 core courses are kind of grouped into 3 subcategories. So there's 2 courses that are more along the lines of software development and data structures. And then we also have 2 courses that are more on the mathematical side. including algorithms. And then we have 2 courses that are more on the hardware side, including programming and the hardware itself. So the combination of those 6 courses is so powerful. And what I like to say is if somebody is interested in learning how to code, like learning one specific coding language, a person could probably do that very easily through, an online class or a boot camp. But this degree is for people who want to really dive down and understand the fundamentals of computer science. And these courses are engineered in such a way that by the time someone finishes all 6 of them, your understanding of the content is so thorough and complete that a person could teach themselves any programming language. And that I consider to be a superpower in today's world where technology is obviously changing so quickly, and one particular language can go in and out of style very fast. So this knowledge and background allows you to be agile in your career and to adapt as things change over time so that you will always be able to keep up with the latest thing. So once you have those core courses under your belt, you can move on to more specialized electives. And we have a lot of different electives in different areas, including machine learning and AI, data science, etc. And we have all of our courses on our website, so you're welcome to navigate over there and take a look at them. Over time, we may add some more electives as well. But for now, we're really happy with the set of offerings that we have, and just a really cool set of folks who are teaching them as well. So let's move on to the next topic, which is what is the course experience like? So there's a lot that I could say about this. There are different kinds of online experiences, and not all of them are going to be set up in the same way. So we like to try to give you a sense of what it's like when you're in the MCIT online program itself. Basically, there's a certain amount of flexibility that you can have as an MCIT student. For example, when you start the semester, well, I'll say there's 2 required semesters, the fall and the spring, which more or less line up with the on-campus schedule. There's also an optional summer semester that students can participate in or not. And once the semester starts, you will have access to log into your online course or courses. And right away on the first day, you would have access to all of the pre-recorded lecture videos. So we have an awesome team that produces beautiful videos, and they're doing a little what in the background right now, as they should. And so they are all ready for you on the first day. So a person can sort of Netflix style binge watch all of the videos in a course as they like. However, the assignments are opened up on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. So the idea is that we want folks to have that cohort experience and go through the assignments together, not to mention having the support of the teaching assistants and the instructors and the course staff as you go through the material. But within those week or bi-weekly assignments, you have the flexibility to organize your time and your deliverables as you need to. So you can watch the videos on your own schedule. You can do the assignment work on your own schedule. And then we also have live sessions, but none of them are required. And so you are allowed to and encouraged to attend live sessions with, again, the teaching assistants or with the instructors. Those would be either recitation type of sessions where you go over examples, or it could be more like a private or group office hours. So you have that option to get that support. And for the public sessions that are available to everyone, those are also recorded so that if you're not able to join, you can still benefit from the discussion. So you can see that, again, within those deadlines, you really have the flexibility to schedule your own time. And that's why I think this program appeals to a lot of mid-career working professionals. So people can be working and then pursuing a master's degree on the side in the evenings, on the weekends. That said, it is a big commitment. It is a lot of time, and it can be a little jarring if you've been out of school for a while to come back into a learning environment where you start off being bad at something and you have to spend a lot of time getting up to speed. So we do our best to support you in that and to let you know what it's going to be like so that you have the expectations aligned with what will actually happen, and so that you're prepared and motivated to persist. So I think I've covered everything on this slide. Oh, you can, yes. Another thing you can do is, I'm playing tricks on our slide people. If you could go back for a second. You can alternate between full-time and part-time status. That's another example of the flexibility that we have. So you actually don't even need to alert our staff necessarily. There's no form that you have to fill out to switch. All you have to do is at the time that it's when you're ready to sign up for classes for the next semester, you just sign up for the number of classes that suits your schedule for that semester. So let's say maybe you would, for your very first semester, take just one class so that you can kind of adjust to managing your time and doing homework again and seeing what it's like to fit it into your schedule. And then maybe the next semester you would like to do 2 courses to kind of bump it up a notch. Then maybe you take off the summer, which is optional. Maybe you feeling really wild, you go up to 3 for one semester and then down to 2. All of those are fine options. We also have a leave of absence policy where if something comes up in your life, which sometimes does with mid-career working professionals, you can take up to 4 semesters off over your time in the program. So I think there is flexibility, but then it is existing within a structure, if that makes sense. So the structure of the academic calendar and the structure of the weekly and biweekly assignments. We estimate that the students spend about 15 hours per week per course. And so that's something to think through very carefully when you're considering this program. And I want to emphasize average number of hours because that can also vary widely. So especially if, let's say it's a programming assignment. And so maybe the first week you're kind of watching the videos and getting a sense of what you're doing. And that might be closer to 15 hours. And then the next week you're working on the assignment and you're debugging, and that's notorious for taking up a lot of time, and it goes up to 25 hours that week. That's very common. And then maybe, the next class that you take is a math class and you were a math major, and that for whatever reason, that class is particularly easy for you. So it turns out to be a little bit less than 15 hours a week. You can see how we like to say average because there are so many different variables that affect how much time the program takes per person. But we also have a team of really awesome academic advisors who are there to support you every step of the way. They can have those conversations with you if you're sort of debating how many classes to take and what might be a good fit for you, or if during the semester you're feeling overwhelmed or you feel like you need some moral support along the way. We have lots of different resources available to make sure that you are successful in reaching your goals. So next I want to talk about the MCIT Online community, which I alluded to a bit before. And I'm so proud of our community. I think we've gotten very lucky in finding a lot of really awesome people. There's really a culture of generosity in the student body in terms of sharing job opportunities and advice and memes and pet pictures and everything you can imagine. So the main way that the students communicate with each other is through a Slack workspace. And Slack, if you're not familiar, is a chatting tool. And so there's a workspace that's just for the students. I also have some team members that hang out there to moderate a bit. But otherwise, it's just for students to connect with each other. And they do. I mean, it's not required again. So I guess you might have some students who are not really interested in the community and perhaps they, just want to put their head down and get their work done. But I will say, I think it makes the experience much richer and more enjoyable. I think there's so much support out there from the other students, and there can be a tendency toward isolation for somebody who's doing an online program, feeling like they're kind of going through that experience themselves. And what we want to emphasize is you're definitely not alone. There's a ton of other students out there who are, for better, for worse, having good days and bad days. And there's just a lot of resources for those hard days. We also have a LinkedIn group, a private LinkedIn group for our MCIT online current students, and the alumni are in there as well. So it's really getting to be a very large network within itself. And we have other opportunities for folks to connect with Penn engineering as a whole in terms of the alumni and University of Pennsylvania alumni as well, once they're admitted as students. So our students have also started a club. We have one club right now, and spoiler alert, we have another one on the way, but I can't say anything about it yet. Very excited. Our first club is called MOSA. It's the MCIT Online Student Association. And we have, one of the things they do is organize the peer mentorship program. So that's another example of support that we have, where current students volunteer their time to mentor other students who are coming in and saying, yes, I know exactly how you feel. I've been there too. Like, don't you hate it when your kids interrupt you when you're doing your homework, or whatever it might be? So yeah, that's just another example of the rich community that makes up our program. Then whenever it's safe to do, we love to have in-person events. So typically we will have an event in the fall on campus that is optional, of course. We'd love to see our students when they're able to travel to Philadelphia. And sometimes we're able to have events on the West Coast as well to meet up with the other side of the country. And then everyone who graduates is invited to campus for the graduation ceremonies. We just had our first in-person ceremony for MCIT Online last month, and it was so wonderful to have everyone together in person. You had students meeting the faculty in person in real life for the first time. You had students who had become really good friends with each other, meeting each other in real life as well. And that was just a profound experience. So we have lots of other events as well that are virtual. We have tons of networking events and professional development events, as well as research related and all sorts of things. So again, there's lots of different ways for people to get involved if they want to, and it's actually a core value of our program is that community and that connection that people have with each other and maintain, I think, after they graduate as well, which is a huge asset, both professionally and just personally. And now I'm going to turn it over to Jackie, who will move on to some of the nitty gritty application pieces, as well as some tips for you all.
Great. Thanks so much, Olivia. So as Olivia mentioned, I'm going to go through the application elements with you and the deadlines and, all of the details that you need to move forward with the application process. So as far as the application elements go, there's several elements that you need to prepare when submitting your application. The first one is the resume. And a lot of people think, oh, resume, I have an updated resume. This is going to be really easy. I just need to kind of plop it in the application. But what I like to stress is to take a look at your resume and to really see if your resume is designed in such a way and worded in such a way that portrays you or to shows your qualities as a great MCIT online student. So for instance, you may want to take a look at when you're talking about your current role and your current job, maybe some of the things that you've learned in that role or some of the qualities that you've been able to really develop in that role that also will show that you can be a great MCIT online student. So you may need to rework some things in the resume. You also may want to focus on if you've done some online work or a good amount of online work, you may want to create a section in your resume for online course experience and kind of call out those online courses that you've participated with or certificates that you've received. That's also a good section for your resume. We have other applicants because quantitative aptitude is so important with the MCIT online program. So some applicants will call out a section in their resume for quantitative courses that they've taken as well to kind of draw attention to that. So I would take a look at your resume and perhaps maybe rework it so that it's really showing you and those qualities as a good MCIT online student, or also the particular things that the admissions committee might be looking for that would make you stand out, such as that online coursework or quantitative courses. The next element with the application is the personal statement. So this is a great way for the admissions committee to get to know who you are and what you're all about. And really the way I like to look at this and what I tell applicants is that we don't have like a formal interview where, you get a face-to-face interview. So this is kind of your way. This is your interview that's in writing. So there's several questions with the personal statement. It's really important that you hit each question in your personal statement and answer it in such a way as if you were at an interview, so that we get the admissions committee gets a real good feel of what drew you to this program. Why are you passionate about this program? What are your goals after you complete this program? How do you see yourself helping others through this program? And again, go through those questions and you'll see a lot of what I'm talking about, but it's really a great way for you to identify yourself. And even things that might have happened. For instance, perhaps you feel that your GPA is a little bit lower and it might have been for a particular reason. You want to make sure you're explaining that in your personal statement as well. So it's really a great vehicle, like I said, for the admissions committee to really get a feel for who you are and look at it kind of like that, almost like an interview process. The other thing that we always say, it's great to get somebody else to read it. You might think it's fabulous, and then you get somebody else to read it and they might say that you missed a point, or maybe you could word things better, or they might remind you of something, an example for your current job that you might be able to use. So get somebody else to view it, to read it. Make sure they understand the questions that we're looking for first, but it's always a great idea to get somebody else to read your personal statement. You're also going to need your college transcripts, and we need unofficial college transcripts for the application process. So you can have a PDF copy, you can upload that and attach it to your application. The thing to remember, we need college transcripts for every course and grade you received. So for instance, if you started at a community college and then you transferred to another college or university, And those courses that you took at a community college are showing as T's on your college transcript. We need to see those transfer courses. We need to see those that transcript, that refer to those transfer credits. So it's important. Every course and grade that you have, we need the transcripts for them. So if it's 2 schools, 3 schools, 4 schools, whatever it is, make sure you include all of your transcripts for your undergraduate as well as any graduate programs that you may have graduated from or started. Okay. There is a $90 application fee, so that definitely will need to be included with your application. We also need letters of recommendation. 2 letters of recommendation are required, but we strongly urge you to ask for 3. And the reason being is this is the application element that's somewhat out of your control. You're relying on someone else to submit that element for you or on your behalf. So there's only so much that you can do with that and making sure that they get in on time. So that 3rd recommendation is sort of like, then you have a safety net. So if somebody is lagging and they don't get that recommendation in on time, hopefully the other 2 are in on time and in by the deadline. All letters of recommendation need to be in by application deadline in order for the application to be considered. But you can submit your application well in advance of us receiving. You don't need to wait until you see the recommendation letter or check to see if we have the recommendation letter. We'll wait for that letter of recommendation, but so you can submit ahead of time. But the letters of recommendation, must be in by the application deadline. So choosing your recommenders are extremely important. You want to make sure you choose people that know you well and that know your qualities as to why you can be successful in this program. So some people ask, well, is it better to use a professor or should I use a supervisor in my job? Maybe a professor is better because they know my academic ability. And the answer to that really is if the professor really doesn't know you and they just know you as a student who comes to class and gets their assignments in on time, but they really don't know about your true work ethic or your leadership skills or the ability to work with others, then that may not be a good choice. It may be a better choice to have a current manager or a current supervisor. What you don't want for letters of recommendation would be family or friends. You definitely are looking for a manager type, supervisor type. If you own your own business, you could use a client because clients are somewhat supervising you because they're overseeing those projects and they're waiting for certain materials or services from you. So those would be good options for letters of recommendation. And again, definitely you want to make sure I would put 3 in there so that you can hopefully guarantee to get the 2 that are needed before deadline. The GRE is optional. That is not required for our application process. Some applicants choose to submit a GRE. In some cases, they may feel that they don't have enough quantitative courses or math courses in their application or on their transcripts, or perhaps maybe some of their math courses they have lower grades in. So they use the GRE to either add on or I should say supplement to show their quantitative aptitude. So again, it's not required, it is optional. But again, it is a way that some of our applicants do show their quantitative ability. The TOEFL is required for anyone that is not a U.S. citizen or not a U.S. permanent resident, or if English is not your primary language, then you would be required to take the TOEFL and to submit those TOEFL scores. Now, some individuals where English is not their primary language, they may have gone to a university where the medium instruction was English, and then in that case, you could submit a TOEFL waiver. So if you went to a university or a college where the primary language of what was taught was in English, then you could submit a TOEFL waiver. Keep in mind the TOEFL waivers are submitted after you submit your MCIT application. So if the deadline for the MCIT application is at 11:59 p.m. on August 2nd, and you submit your MCIT application at 11:58 on August 2nd, then there may not be enough time to get that TOEFL waiver in, because we send you an email with a unique link and you have to use that link to get the TOEFL waiver in. So my point is to allow for some time to make sure that you can get that TOEFL waiver in on time as well. Okay, so everything needs to be received by that application deadline. So once you have all those elements in, and you submit your application, and then we kind of take it from there. But the good news is there is a checklist, which is the next part. You can review your checklist for your status. You can, check to see if your recommenders got the letters of recommendation in. You can make sure that all of the, if you are submitting a GRE, you can check to see if that GRE score was submitted, or the TOEFL score, whatever the case may be. So you can really use your checklist, to check on the status of anything that is still pending with your application, such as letters of recommendation. On the other side of the slide, you can see all of the application dates and deadlines that are important. We do return decisions all on one day. So if you are interested in the early application cycle, those applications are due on August 2nd, meaning everything, including letters of recommendation or test scores, would need to be in by August 2nd. And then we'll deliver those decisions to everyone on September 15th. If you feel your application isn't quite there yet and you want to spend some more time on it, then you can submit for regular decision. And the deadline for regular decision is October 1st. And then we will return those decisions on November 11th. And then you can read through the other the dates as well. Okay, classes will start in January. And then we do have an onboarding, which is similar to like an orientation course, which gets you ready for the program, and that will start in December. So it gets you used to the using Zoom and using different programs and the platform. And I think it also gives you a little bit of early access, maybe into the first course. But Olivia could probably jump in if that's wrong. I'm almost positive it gives you a little bit of a early start on that, or a sneak peek maybe on that first course. Yeah,
you got it.
Okay, great. So that kind of gives you the application details in a nutshell. What I want to tell you is that our website does a great job of really going into the nitty gritty of each one of those elements. If you want to know how long your resume should be or your personal statement, go on to the website, go into MCIT, into admissions. All of that is outlined on there. We lay out the personal statement questions. So you really want to look at that. There's also an application checklist on that website. There's application insights where there's a blog on each one of the elements. I strongly recommend that you look at all of those as you're preparing your application for even more details with regard to the elements. So I think next slide, we're going to go into tuition, and we'll talk a little bit about that. So our current tuition is $3,200 per course unit, which per course unit is a course. So like Olivia mentioned, there are 10 courses in the MCIT online program. So the total tuition for those 10 courses with the current tuition is $32,000. In addition to that, there is a fee. There's a fee per course. It's $144 per course. So that's an additional $1,440 that you would also have to pay. But the good news is, or what I should say, the way that we structure the tuition, you only pay for the courses that you register for. So your first semester, if you're only going to take one course or two courses, then that's what you're going to pay in that semester. So somewhere around, right prior to courses starting, or to the semester starting, your tuition bill would be due, and you'd only be paying for what the amount of courses that you're registered for. So some students, we give students 7 years to complete the MCIT online program. So some students, if they're looking to stretch out their finances, then they may take all 7 years to complete the program, and that's one way of kind of gradually funding the program, because then you would be able to spread the tuition out over that 7-year period. Other students don't want to spend that long on the program. So, they work out their finances in different ways if they want to finish the program earlier than 7 years. But that is definitely an option if you wanted to spread your finances out. In addition, we also are excited we have a Dean's Master Scholarship, which we started for the fall semester, but we'll be continuing it for spring 2023. And this is a great way, to help to fund the program, and it provides financial support. And the idea is to attract a diverse student body who'll be successful in advancing the school's mission. And that's really what this is all about. And we're really, really excited about this. And we really hope that, many of you apply for this as well. You apply at the time of application. So again, this scholarship is also due at the same time that your MCIT application is due. So if you're looking to apply to this scholarship, again, you want to allow time for it, because after you submit your MCIT application, then you will be submitting this scholarship. You can go on to the website. The questions, there's 2 questions for the scholarship that you would need to answer. Those are on the website. So you can prepare ahead of time and have it ready, in a Word doc, let's say, and then you could copy and paste it into the scholarship application at that time. I do need to say that the scholarship for right now is only open to U.S. citizens and U.S. permanent residents. Recipients do receive funding throughout the MCIT program. So you do receive the funding every semester throughout the MCIT program. So it is a great opportunity for our U.S. citizens and U.S. permanent residents for sure. And then I wanted to also explain another great opportunity, that's coming up. And that's So that's the Penn Engineering Online, MCIT Online and a dual degree option. So this is the dual degree. It's a great opportunity for MCIT students. And basically what it means is that if you're interested in our new MSEDS program, which is our Masters of Science in Engineering in Data Science, you could, while you're in the MCIT program, you could apply to the MSEDS program and receive a dual degree as part of the program. So the way it works, if you're interested in the MSEDS online program, when you're a student and when you're an MCIT online student, after you've completed 6 courses, you can apply to the MSEDS online program. It's sort of like an abbreviated application that you would complete. You also must have a 3.5 grade point average. But what it does is it allows you to complete 2 degrees, basically one right after the other. So you would graduate from the MCIT online program, and then you would matriculate into the MSEDS online program, and you'd only have another 6 courses to complete for that program, and you'd be receiving 2 degrees. The MCIT online degree after 10 courses, and then another 6 courses for the MSEDS online program. So it's a great way if you have interest in moving on and taking a deep dive into that data science area. This is a great way to pursue that. And remember, for applicants to be eligible for the MSEDS online program, you need that computer science background. The MCIT program is giving you the background that you need for the MSEDS program. So it's really a great way to launch into that data science program. So we're thrilled to introduce the dual degree option to you guys. It's a great opportunity for our MCIT online students. And of course, if you're accepted into the program, you'd have the opportunity to apply to it as well. So I think we have just about covered everything. And we definitely have some time for questions and answers. I know that we've been answering questions on the camera, but we're definitely going to go ahead and get started to see what else we can answer. So let me just pull these up here. And Olivia and I will both be answering them together. So the first question is, I'm going to answer this one. It says, how does the 15-minute online advising session work what can I expect from the advising session? So we offer advising sessions twice a week on Tuesdays and Fridays, and I'm pretty much the person that you would be meeting with. They're in 15-minute slots. But what we do when you register for them, we do ask you some information as far as what are your questions, and I try to review that as best I can prior to the advising session so that I'm prepared. But you have 15 minutes to ask those questions, and we talk about it. And this way, if you have really things that are particular to you and you don't feel like or you don't feel comfortable doing in a group setting, this is a great way to really ask some specific questions. And we chat one-on-one. So, and I think having that registration form is a great way, because then I can get to know and get an idea of what you're looking for prior to meeting with you.
Yeah. Thank you, Jackie. I would also say, just in case, well, we have two different kinds of advising sessions. I'm not sure which one the question is referring to, so I'll just explain the other one as well. So Jackie was telling about the admissions office hours that we have for prospective students, and you can find the sign up for that on our website. And then once students are admitted, we also have office hours for admitted students. And we have a set of really amazing advisors who are available each week. It's hard to say how a typical advising session would go. I think it depends on what the student wants to talk about. It could be that the student wants to talk about which courses they might want to register for in the upcoming semester. Or maybe they want to talk about feeling overwhelmed with all of their schoolwork and, some time management suggestions. Or maybe they want to talk about what's the best way to identify someone to be in a group project with them, or just maybe getting involved with extracurricular activities. So I like to say, once you're admitted, if you pretty much have any kind of question, our advisors are happy to help. And if they're not, quote unquote, the right person, then they can connect you with the resources that you need. And also, if for some reason, all of the sessions are booked up for that week, you can also reach out to schedule something sort of ad hoc when it suits your schedule. So yeah, we have a robust set of support for prospective students and admitted students.
The other thing I'm going to add to that too is if you have questions regarding the admissions process, and we also have something called coffee chats. So those are they're very informal setting. It's with several applicants or people who are interested will sign up for those. And we talk in a group setting and answer questions in a group setting. Sometimes that's great because, I know sometimes when I'm looking into something, I get confused on what questions to ask. So even if you don't have any specific questions, I think coffee chats are great because you hear the questions of other applicants. So that's another great resource. If you go on our events page, you can see all the coffee chats that we're going to be offering over the next month. So that's also another great vehicle. And I believe that our student success team also has coffee chats. Is that correct, Olivia?
Yes, and beware because Chris likes to do change his background and mix it up. You never know what what you're gonna get. Yeah.
Oh, I'll have to check that out. Okay, so let me see here. Our next question is I think we covered this a little bit, but how the online program is different from the on-campus program, and do companies prefer the on-campus versus the online?
Yeah, so in terms of what's the difference between on-campus and online in terms of the experience, again, the curriculum is the same, the diploma is the same, but obviously the experience is different in the sense of everything, all of your interactions with us are virtual. Students are certainly welcome to come to campus if they live in the area, but for the most part, I guess one other thing I would like to say is that there is a style of online learning called distance learning, which is, I think, for the most part, kind of going away. But it's the idea of like setting up a camera in the back of a classroom and uploading those videos to an online platform for students to digest. And that's really, really different from this experience. This experience is curated knowing from the beginning that the person is going to be virtual. And so again, the videos are produced in such a way that they try to reduce any obstacles that you might have. And indeed, the whole course is designed with the online experience in mind. In terms of whether companies prefer on-campus to online, we have not seen that. I could just imagine our assistant director of professional development. She says the employer sees the University of Pennsylvania and computer science on the resume and they say you're hired. Of course, of course there's, we can't guarantee anything, but really, truly any kind of stigma with online seems to be fading away. There might be a few governments in particular countries that have rules about online. And so, that's on each individual person to do their research about the direction that they want to go. But even in those cases, we're often able to provide a letter that, again, confirms that all of the content that was learned is the same as the on-campus program, and usually there's no problem. So I would say you're all good there. And even some companies are familiar with MCIT, again, because it's been around since 2001 and it's developed a really awesome reputation. So they want to snap up those graduates whenever they can.
Great. And then we have another question. Are the classes for the MCIT set up in a similar way to the Coursera introductory offers? And is Coursera used for the main MCIT program?
That's a great question. So I would say the experience on Coursera for the introductory courses that we have, sidebar shout out to our introductory specialization. It's called Introduction to Python and Java on Coursera. And the experience is similar in the sense of kind of like the cadence of the videos and the quizzes and the assignments, but it is a little bit different once you matriculate as a student, because for one thing, the assignments are a lot harder. So sorry, but they are. And the platform is different as well. So, but still that experience of kind of the videos with the quizzes is the same. Another asset that we have once you're admitted student is like a virtual discussion board. And so that's a great place to post questions about the course content when you're going through the course. If you can't attend office hours for some reason, we have a ton of TAs and course staff who are on those boards answering questions almost 24 hours a day. And that's another communication tool that we have available for online students.
Perfect. And we're running out of time. I think we might have time for just one more question. It says, considering this program with global reach, are there any current or any plans for local chapters of student groups in various countries to offer support?
This is an awesome idea. And I would say, go ahead and apply, and then you can
Your head.
join in and create it. And I mean, we really encourage students to come up with their own ideas and initiatives. But I will say, so University of Pennsylvania is a very large place with a huge network. And we already have what are called Penn clubs all around the world. And so once a student is admitted to University of Pennsylvania, they are more than welcome to join in their local chapters of Penn clubs, and alumni participate there as well. So it's a really cool way to connect with people in real life. There are a lot of Penn clubs already established in many major cities around the world. I think we have a link to that on our career services page, but it's also available on upenn.edu. So that's something that we have already in place, but who knows what we may invest in the future.
Great. And then we do have a question about our commencement. Do we get to graduate at Penn's annual commencement, or do we just get our diplomas mailed? So we just had our very first in-person commencement last month, and it was amazing. So yes, bottom line is yes, we do have an in-person commencement, and we would strongly encourage everyone who's graduating to attend that event. It was really amazing. I was just so just amazed at the camaraderie in the room and the energy. And it was like people knew each other. You know, many of them obviously were just meeting for the first time, and it was like they knew each other for years. So it was just such a great sense of community, and it was truly a wonderful event. So, yep, we have an in-person commencement, and absolutely, when it's your time, we would strongly urge you to participate for sure. So, hopefully, I know we're slowly running out of time. So if we didn't get to your question, we're going to just bring a slide up. I'm going to show you some resources that you can use after this. First of all, if we didn't get to your question, please feel free. The second bullet point on there is our email address. So email us and we will answer it for you. So if we didn't get to you, I apologize. Email us your question. We certainly can answer it. But we also have a fabulous fact database on our website. So please feel free to go to our website, look at those facts. A lot of times those questions are right there for you. So you might want to breeze through that first to take a look at those facts. We talked about a private admission advising appointments. There are appointments every Tuesdays and Fridays. As it gets closer to deadline, we also add days to there. So you want to keep an eye out for any additional days as well. But I'm happy to meet with you and to help answer questions there. We also have a great mailing list so that you can stay in touch with everything that's going on. We let you know about upcoming events or any changes or additions. I know Olivia kind of alluded to some new things that might be happening. So you can, if you sign up for the mailing list, we'll be able to fill you in on all that good stuff as well. And then we talked about two introductory courses, our introduction to programming with Python and Java. So that's through Coursera. That's a great introductory program that we strongly would urge you to check out and to see. That's something that you can do now. And get started with right away, and as well as the computational thinking for problem solving course. So those are great two introductory courses. They're not required, but they certainly will give you a great feel for the program and for what the online learning is really all about, especially if you've never done any type of online course before. So these are just great resources that you can use after the webinar is over. Please don't forget that the webinar is recorded, so we will post it on our YouTube channel if you want to go back and check out anything that you feel you might have missed or didn't remember. So we've given you a ton of information. I certainly hope that we've answered your questions and we've eased any of your concerns. I'm happy to help you over the next 3 weeks with whatever questions you have, as well as anybody on our admissions team. So thank you so much for joining us. We wish you the best of luck and have a great rest of your day or evening. Bye-bye now.